Good evening, everyone. My name's Kieran from Red Devil Weekly. United haven't been able to get the job done at home to PSG. A frustrating defeat, a very, very frustrating defeat in a game which could have really gone either way for the majority of that game. For most of it, obviously, towards the end, I think PSG had the upper hand, but especially after the sending off. But at the same time, it missed chances. Not being clinical enough is what killed us in this game today. The sending off didn't help matters, to be fair, but just not taking our chances. And we've been here before. We've been on this exact same talking point before with Manchester United. And in these big games, as we talked about in the preview, you've got to take your chances. And we didn't do that today. We missed two very, very good chances. You could argue Cavani's chip as well, even though it was a very, very intelligent attempt. It would have been amazing if it had gone in. It was close, but no cigar. And obviously, in those sort of moments, that's when you need to strike. When the iron's hot in big games, you need to strike, especially when you've got a side with the quality of PSG who are going to come and play and have all that attacking quality and ability. And realistically, if you don't strike with the iron's hot, if you don't take your chances, you're not going to win any games playing like that. So unfortunately, United have lost, and now it's tied up on 9 points with Leipzig, United and PSG all on 9 points going into that final game. Obviously, still for us, a point will be enough to see us through because Istanbul can't catch any of us. So a point against RB Leipzig will still be enough to see us through. But what it does mean is that if we do lose against Leipzig and PSG get a point, they go through, and somehow, even after PSG's really poor start in the Champions League and just poor form in general as of late, they would progress through with RB Leipzig to the knockout stages, and we would be in the Europa League. I know it's an absolutely nightmare situation, and a situation I don't really want to be thinking about for too much longer, to be honest with you. Welcome Adam, welcome Kobe, thanks for joining, guys, appreciate it. I won't be doing this stream for long, to be honest. Obviously it's quite late, I know, obviously it's during the week, so I'm not going to be doing this for a long time. And also just the fact that who wants to be talking about a loss? Who really wants to be sitting there ranting about a loss? I don't have that sort of energy, guys, I really, really don't. But yeah, it was so frustrating, really, the lack of just the lack of where was our clinical streak that we showed in the second half against Southampton? We didn't have it, and I think I was so puzzled by the fact that Martial stayed on the pitch when Cavani went off. Cavani's a striker in the better form right now, and I feel like he was the one who was gonna score. If anyone was gonna score, it was gonna be Edison Cavani. But obviously Martial stayed on. Martial actually got taken off for Greenwood, to be fair. I'll hold my hands up, I got that wrong. Martial did get taken off for Greenwood. But there's no way you can tell me that Cavani should have been taken off. I thought that his movement was actually quite hard to deal with the PSG backline. There were so many times where he was free, and if we needed to get back into the game, I feel like he's the guy who would have taken one of those chances. If that chance falls to him instead of Martial, it's in the back of the net, I'm sorry. Welcome to Naveen, welcome Matthew as well, thanks for joining. Kobe says, severe game all over again. Very, very similar, to be fair. I didn't think about that, but yeah, there are a lot of similarities, especially with the fact that we didn't take our chances. Matthew says, I'm so done seeing someone in front in the midfield. You'll never win anything with either of them. Fred, I'm sorry, yeah. Fred, I mean, whatever you think about the second yellow card, whether it is a yellow card or not, I don't know why after being on a yellow card and having numerous warnings, you go in for that challenge, especially after we've just conceded. Why would you go in for a lunging challenge like that? I just don't understand. Why would you go in for a lunging challenge? We've just conceded, you're on a yellow card, someone had to get to him, and as someone mentioned, he should have been taken off. He should have been taken off at half time. Welcome Tom as well, thanks for joining, appreciate it. Welcome Naveen, he says Martial blundered 2 sitters tonight. Yeah, I think Martial as well, you're missing chances from him. Also for some reason, I don't know if you guys noticed it with Rashford, but there were some times that Rashford would be in behind and then he wouldn't want to shoot a goal. I don't think he took a single shot today, except obviously the goal that was given to Marcus Rashford. But apart from that, there were times where he jinxed past a few defenders and then he could have taken a shot, but he decided against it. And for me, I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. It was so frustrating, but Obviously, I wouldn't say it was Rashford's fault that we lost. I'm not going to put any real blame, but obviously you just like to see him shoot a bit more. The beard's coming off. Actually, I don't mind the faciality first. I'll probably keep it anyway. But yeah, obviously it didn't come up trumps for us. It didn't come up trumps for us. The facial hair, unfortunately. Naveen says from 45 minutes to 65 minutes, we're dictating the game, placing very well, so many chances. At the point, I thought Van der Beek should come on for Fred. Yeah, well, I agree with that. I think Solskjaer needs to take the blame for a few things tonight. Obviously, one of them being not taking Fred off and bringing Van der Beek on. I don't understand why, when you've got Pogba and Van der Beek on the bench, you don't take Fred off. I don't understand that, to be honest. I really, really don't. Obviously, Oscar winning dive. Look, PSG. I mean, it was so obvious. It was so obvious that that's what PSG were going to do, because realistically, that's what European teams are good at. PSG, they've got a lot of flair players. I'm not suggesting the United players don't do that. I'm not suggesting the English teams don't do it. But obviously, PSG were always going to do that, especially when they were leading the game. So it's frustrating to watch. But at the end of the day, you can't do much about it. It is what it is. It is what it is. That is Champions League football. Against those sides, and we did it twice in Paris. But against sides like PSG, you've got to deal with that sort of shit. You've got to deal with it. And unfortunately, we didn't put ourselves in a good enough position. If we'd taken our chances, we would have come out with at least a draw today. At least. Obviously, Tom not happy with the Solskjaer says Ollie's bottling the group stage like the semi-finals last season. Yeah, that loss against Istanbul is not looking too clever right now. It really isn't. We've now lost we haven't lost back-to-back Champions League games, but obviously losing to Istanbul like that, it's probably going to cost us, I reckon. I think going into that Leipzig game, we have to go away to RB Leipzig and not lose. That's the equation right now. And whilst it's still in our hands, you could say, it's definitely still in our hands, and that is definitely a positive. The fact that we've even got ourselves into this position is just really, really annoying. That for me is the most annoying thing about defeat, because actually looking at the game as a whole, I wasn't too dissatisfied with the performance overall. I think in the first half, our passing was a little bit sloppy, wasn't quick enough. But actually, overall, I didn't think we played that badly. It was just that it's more the fact of the situation that the loss puts us in. I think that's the thing that frustrates me the most. Not really the way we played or the game itself, but just the situation we find ourselves in. And whilst we've got an equal chance of getting through as Leipzig and PSG do, and it's obviously in our hands, as I said, it's difficult. It's very, very kind of difficult to see right now us easily sweeping aside Leipzig and going through. And it's hard to see that now. Obviously, maybe when we get to the game, it'll be different. But right now, it's difficult to be confident going into that game. But usually, when the fan base is confident going into the game, a big game especially, we usually do really poorly. And once again, it's happened. Where on Twitter today, I was seeing loads of people saying we're going to knock PSG out of the Champions League. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And ultimately, we didn't do it. Kobe says, in the last goal, why were the defender Bruno, Wan-Bissaka and Scott? Yeah, I think it's just because we pushed up the pitch, really. At that point, we were just kind of trying to get the equalising goal, and fair play to them. They've got brilliant attackers. They're brilliant attackers on the pitch. Di Maria wasn't even on the pitch in the end. He didn't even get on. So they had some fantastic players on the pitch. I mean, that goal, the composure they showed for that goal was just absolute quality. So fair play to PSG. They probably on the balance deserve to win, but I don't think we played that bad, to be honest. Naveen says we played equally as good as PSG. Deflected second goal set up. Fred red card and poor subs cost us. Should not blame our defenders much. Match could have been very different if Martial scored. I agree. I feel like goals change games. Goals definitely change games. And when you miss opportunities to score goals, that also changes games. That also changes the game for the worse. Obviously, I'm not. There's not very many. Obviously, the Fred red card is a bit of a talking point, but realistically, all Man United fans know realistically Fred, should have been off the pitch before he was off the pitch anyway. So in the end of the day, we're you can't complain too much about Fred being sent off. You can't really complain too much about it. You can argue that the second yellow card was a little bit soft, but realistically, for what was happening with Fred throughout the game, I think realistically, it wasn't surprising that we saw him being sent off in the end. Welcome Red Devil Studio, welcome G, thanks for joining. Make sure to check out Red Devil Studio if you haven't already. Great stuff over there. He says Ollie should have made subs, but stick our forwards. Martial not taking our chances. I agree. I think goals change games. As I said, goals change games, and realistically, if you don't take your chances to score the goals, it's very, very simple, but you're not going to win the game. And especially with PSG, we know they've got brilliant players going forward, and they're always going to create chances. So going into the game, the main thing was to take those chances when we got them, because if we took enough chances, then PSG were never going to be able to outscore us. That was always going to be their plan, was, we're going to outscore you because we know that our defence isn't up to scratch. And we did get quite a few chances throughout the game, but we just didn't take them. We only had one chance that was taken, which was a deflected shot. Frustrating. Dazza, thanks for joining as well. Check out Dazza's football stand if you haven't already. He says, annoyed we lost, should have won it with the chances we had. Yeah, I think most United fans are feeling like you, Daz. I really do. I think most United fans can sum up their feelings with that comment right there. Missed chances. Actually, in the whole game, we didn't play too badly. In game, probably under Jose Mourinho when it was quite bad, PSG probably would have dominated the game from start to finish, and we wouldn't even have had a shot on target. But in the end of the day, we actually did all right in the game. It was just that we didn't take our chances, and PSG, with the really clear-cut chances that they got, took them. So fair play to them. You got to give them credit. G said Cavani should be our main number 9 from now on. I was surprised that he got taken off, to be honest. I was very, very surprised that Solskjaer decided to take Cavani off. I thought that, especially after what happened against Southampton, if anyone was going to get a goal, it would have been Edinson Cavani. So I was a bit perplexed when he took him off, I'm not going to lie. Obviously Martial came off and he missed chances. But yeah, I was surprised when I saw Cavani's number come up, to be honest. But I agree. I think Cavani, we do look a lot better attacking when Cavani's on the pitch. And I thought he had a decent game. Even though we did lose the game, I thought we had a decent game. As I said, far as a joke, it was a defo red card in the first half. And although I hate saying it as a United fan, he should have been 100% off. Yeah, I think most United fans agree with you, Daz. I think most United fans agree with you, to be fair. He should have been off, really. I think, I think they argued that they said that apparently he got the yellow card for the violent conduct, but it wasn't enough force to be, a red card or something. But realistically, if that was against the United player, I'd want a red card. So in that respect, I think it was definitely a red card. I was so surprised, but yeah, I was more surprised that he stayed on the pitch and he was kind of coming out at half time, especially when we've got Van der Beek and Pogba on the bench. I don't understand why he's still on the pitch, but there you go. As I said, the theatre of dreams seems to become the theatre of nightmares. Yeah, couldn't have summed it up better myself. I won't be doing calls, Tom, by the way. Obviously, I won't be live for too much longer, to be honest with you. I do apologise to any of you that wanted to come on tonight. It's just that, obviously, we've lost the game and it is a bit late, to be fair, when I'm starting. So yeah, I apologise. I will be doing calls for the next stream I do. Don't worry about that. But yeah, right now I won't be doing any calls. We'll probably end it soon anyway. Naveen says, thoughts on Maguire and Lindelof apart from the result? I thought they weren't that bad. Really, as a partnership, but I think just the pace of PSG was always not going to be suited to them, because obviously Maguire and Lindelof are much more positional players. They rely on their positioning to get them through games, and I didn't think they were too bad, but obviously towards the end, Neymar and Mbappe were just able to pick them off at will, really. So I'd say they're not the worst partnership in my opinion. I don't actually think they're that bad, but I think PSG just had too much going forward for them. I think they just had too much, really. I don't think you can really blame them for the result in any way. But yeah, it is frustrating. I think we would have all liked to have seen Tuanzebe play, and obviously if he wasn't suspended, then that would have been great. Maybe he'll play against Leipzig, who knows. But we would have loved to have seen Tuanzebe play. I think most people would have picked Tuanzebe over Maguire or Lindelof. So Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? Where is Van der Beek? Yeah, Van der Beek obviously didn't start. I'm not sure whether that's because of the injury midweek, but it seemed like, obviously, because Van der Beek came on as a sub, I think Ollie actually did it as a tactical thing, which worries me slightly, because when Van der Beek came on, I actually think we kind of controlled the midfield a little bit more. And if I just having McTominay and Fred play as that double pivot, it's almost too defensive. And I know it worked against PSG, but we were playing a back five, where we were able to play on the counter attack, but at the same time, yeah, it's frustrating. But welcome Skulls 101. Thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate it. He says resting for the Carling Cup. Maybe, maybe he was doing it. Maybe he just thought, we'll rest our best players. Pogba on the bench, Van der Beek on the bench. Maybe he did that. But listen, I don't understand why Van der Beek was on the bench. Well, wasn't on the pitch, I should say. Pogba came on. I didn't think Pogba did too much, although to be fair, he didn't really have that much time to do anything. What can you say, really? A bit of team selection wrong. Across most areas of the pitch, it went wrong tonight. I thought Bruno Fernandes didn't really have too much of an impact in the game. I didn't think he really created too much. I think that was their game plan, really. They knew that with Bruno Fernandes on the pitch, he was our only creative outlet. So if we nullify Bruno Fernandes, then they won't be able to create that much. So for me, Bruno Fernandes unfortunately didn't have the best of games, but I guess that's testament to PSG because they did very, very well to contain him. Dada says we'll be lucky if Danny Van der Beek stays for the season because he's not getting game time. 12 minutes isn't enough for a player of his calibre. Frustrated. Well, I don't think Van der Beek is going to leave anytime soon. Really, I think obviously the fact that he signed his contract and stuff, I feel like he is going to be here for at least a season. United aren't going to let him go in the winter or whatever on the January transfer window. There's no way that's happening. But I'm surprised that he's not getting as much game time. Kobe says he wouldn't be surprised if Donny went to Juve in the winter. I disagree, but who knows? 2020 is a funny old year. Obviously, it'll be 2021, so hopefully things are looking up. Obviously, the vaccines and stuff seem to be coming. I can't really comment on that any more than that. That's all I can say, just the news. That is the news that's come out. Thoughts on Camavinga? He's a decent little player. He's quite young, to be fair. He's only like 17. Younger than me, actually. But he's a very, very good player, although I don't see him coming to United. I just don't see it happening. A lot of people are comparing him to Pogba already. But he's a good player. He's a very, very good player. I just don't see him coming to United, to be honest. I feel like he will go to a feeder club, kind of train up at the feeder club, progress into the player that will be bought for around 150 million by PSG probably in about 2 or 3 years' time. That's what I feel like the inevitable path is for his career. Very similar to Kylian Mbappe. Obviously, a young Frenchman will want to play for the biggest team in France and do stuff in the Champions League. So I feel like he probably will be going to PSG eventually. But he's a very, very good player. If we can get him, I'd be happy to because he looks very, very good. Thoughts on Bruno? Why we couldn't the Bruno we want? Why didn't we see the Bruno we want? Yeah, I think, as I said, I feel like PSG just nullified Bruno Fernandes. I think that's all they did. They just nullified him. And also, he made a few passes which he didn't need to make, which is a frustrating thing. And usually in games, Bruno Fernandes does that. But because he has enough good passes, we kind of forget about that. But he is one of those players that likes to try stuff, but sometimes he just does it too intricately. The one where he set up Martial when his shot was blocked, that was a fantastic touch to put it right into Martial's feet. So he's done well. I don't think he had the worst game, but I think he just got nullified by PSG's midfield, and they did very, very well. RIP Pat Pattinson from the WWE. I haven't watched WWE in years, to be honest with you, mate. And to be honest, I don't recognise Pat Pattinson, but I did see that trending on Twitter, so RIP to him. And anyone who's affected by that, hopefully you're doing all right. Skull says if we could only vaccinate United players against apathy, we might make some progress. Yeah, maybe. Listen, it's so true, but it was just I think PSG, they deserve to win. Like, I'm not saying they played badly. Obviously, they scored when they needed to. They were more clinical than us, and they had the better quality going forward, and it showed today. Neymar scored twice. which kind of pissed me off to us because obviously Neymar's that guy that we've famously been able to keep quiet. It was kind of like when Salah scored at Anfield a few seasons ago. It's like he was the guy that never scored against us, and obviously then he ended up doing it. Now Neymar scored twice, obviously probably got man of the match as well, even though realistically he took his 2 chances well, but I don't think he was their best player. So, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter who I think was their best player, whether I think Neymar was good or not. He scored the goals, and realistically that's what you need to do in these Champions League games. Kobe says, what's with Ollie always picking Scott, teacher's pet? Well, listen, I don't know. I mean, we're talking about whether he should play Scott McTominay and Emmanuel Matic. I think a lot of us thought that Scott McTominay was a doubt for this game. But yeah, I'm surprised that he even played, to be honest. I'm really surprised. But obviously he didn't seem to have the best of games. But we can't change it now, and we're in a pretty poor situation right now. I think it's still in our hands. We just have to not lose against Leipzig, but it's a frustrating situation as well, because even if we draw against Leipzig, we won't finish top of the group, because obviously Istanbul won't beat PSG in PSG unless PSG completely capitulate, which we hope and pray it happens, but I doubt it. So for me, we have to beat Leipzig to top the group, and it's a frustrating position to be in, but hopefully our away record can get us through that. But anyway, thanks for joining, guys. As I said, it was only going to be a short stream tonight. Obviously, it's a bit late, and I've got some stuff to do after this anyway. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, what you thought, who was to blame, what you thought of Ollie's decision-making in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new around here, and leave a like if you aren't already. But thanks for watching, everyone. Really appreciate it. We'll get guests on in the next stream. Be back to normal, back to usual in the West Ham preview. But till then, thanks for watching, and let's hope for a better result on the weekend. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in a bit.